Hey, friends and family. Hey, loved ones. Hey, fools, gardeners, creators, magicians, and tools. Hey, how's it going? So, I was just doing some investigating and some digging and things, and there's so much always to share because I'm always discovering something. And yeah, it's always enriching and enlivening, um, my discovery and recovery of myself. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come on and share a couple things, of some fun things, and some, yeah, really awesome things that I found when I followed these nudges of these symbols and these archetypal energies that are coming up to help me navigate like this time of change and transformation and this death and rebirth and these new beginnings and these endings, yeah, which I didn't realize until yesterday when I was reading one of the animal spirit oracle cards, like how much grieving I still have left to do or to allow myself to move through these feelings of grief, of letting go of the old and saying goodbye, to what I've known, going through this ego death and this death of the old, just letting go, this unraveling, so that new life can be born and can be held within the whole. And so, yeah, just kind of reviewing some things and willing. I'm willing. I'm willing to let it all be and to let it all go and to let it unfold as it needs to. But that does take a lot of faith and remembrance, yeah, and surrender and humility. And so just working with, my totems like I usually do, and I love them, and they always help me remember what's true, what's really true. And so just listening to my guidance and surrendering and being as present as I can be here and now. And so it is kind of a trip and a half, and it is quite the journey, and the fool's journey. And so just willing to receive all the help that I can open to receive, and just let it be an adventure and enjoy what is available now. Participate joyfully in the sorrows of the world, yeah, and through the delights of the world, through the joy, yeah, through the joy of my being, and sharing that joy and living that joy and embodying joy, because that's our natural state of being. So just remembering a lot of things and discovering and looking into some new things as well, and also continuing, yeah, with the continuity and continual streams, those continual streams of currency, spiritual wealth and currency, and just asking and opening and trusting that I am able to receive, and then it's up to me to receive what's being offered and what's being given and presented right now in the present. And so some of the things that have been coming up for me in some really cool ways, and just how they do and their synchronicities, is protection and clarity, and a lot of that has to do with the element of water, and it's connected to frog medicine and the thunder beings, and yeah, all those things. Cleansing and purification, and salt has been coming up a lot lately, and so that's been awesome. And tears, so like the holy water, salt water, those kinds of things, the protection of that transparent expression and moving those emotions, yeah, and allowing them to be acknowledged, felt, and expressed. And so, yeah, I was looking at some things the other day when Coyote came to play. And yeah, Coyote's so awesome. Coyote's one of my biggest allies, really. Helped me remember to laugh at myself and to break up like the old painful patterns with laughter and with opposites, which is very cool too. And so I just read something awesome about Heyokah and Coyote in my new Sacred Path cards book. I just got the Sacred Path cards yesterday, and opened it up today, and got a couple of awesome things that I may share in a little bit that relate. And so some things I've been reviewing and looking into, and it's very cool because it does have to do with water. Yeah, the element of water, and that's the element, like right now, that presides over this time, that's associated and corresponds to this time of autumn and this time of change and this time of surrender. And so it is pretty cool. There is a lot of things, and we'll see how this wants to unravel and be. And so I'll just share a couple of things from my journal that I wrote yesterday and today. Protection and clarity, frog medicine, salt and tears. The 13 keeps popping up, and the element of water, the spiral, as well. Hung Vajrapaye, sunlight of the Most High, and calling on Vajrapani for cleansing, protection, and purification. Ho'oponopono. The thunder beings and Thor's hammer. Different numbers have been coming up that I've noticed, in a lot of different ways. And doubles and doubling and sequencing, like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And the Fibonacci sequence in the golden spiral. Some of the symbols, the egg and the dome and Turtle Island. Multiple and single roses, the mirror, the tree of life, and ant medicine, community and connection, communication and trust, emanation and imagination. So gorilla, I looked into gorilla because ape and gorilla and monkey keep coming up, and so hey, I was like, you know what, gorilla's got a message for me. Gorilla has something for me. So I went and I looked into gorilla, and gorilla is actually conspicuously missing from all of the books that I have and all of the card decks that I have. And so I went and I looked online, and I found like a really cool article about gorilla, and so just like, wow, love gorilla, all the qualities gorilla holds. And it's very amazing symbol for this time as well, because it has to do with balance and harmony and all of that, and it has to do with gentleness, kindness, compassion, and family. And so that's like super awesome for me to receive today. And I'll share a little link in the description box. I think it was called What is My Spirit Animal or My Power Animal or something like that. But it was all about gorilla, and I so appreciate all the things that I got to receive about gorilla today, and some things to reflect and contemplate on around gorilla's energies and qualities, and what gorilla can teach and show me about me and we, because it is about community and family. And so I have more to share about that soon, and we will come around. We'll circle back around. So gorilla or ape is intelligence, compassion, gentility, and family. And then coyote was coming up, serious lessons in humility and protection, seriously, not so seriously. Crow, magic, attention, focus, and trust. Deer, gentleness, faith, and trust. So a lot of things around trust. And loyalty. And so that's dog medicine, loyalty to all we love, loyalty to our family, loyalty to who we are and to what we love. The creative imagination, that keeps coming up, the imagination. The creative imagination, our true alchemical vessel for transformation, which reminds me of, some things that were shared with a beloved group of mine, and just sending that appreciation and gratitude back, for the wisdom and the love and the time that was shared, all the care that was expressed and shared with me and we. So the ivy, I'm looking into ivy, and that was a really cool thing as well. So actually in the Celtic calendar, that's the season and the month that we're in right now. It has to do with ivy. And so it's the goddess tree, what I'm looking at, this website on my phone here. So it's the 11th month of the Celtic tree calendar, which goes from September 30th to October 27th. And so it's the 11th consonant of the Ogham alphabet. And it's called Gort. And so there's some cool correspondences and things that go along with ivy. And it's just super cool, and I'll put that in the description box as well. And so the planet that it corresponds to is the moon and Saturn. And so Saturn actually is in retrograde right now, and it's going to be stationing direct on the 10th of the month. And we have a 10-10 portal soon, in just 2 days about, of 10-10 portal of change. And so, and 10, has been coming up a lot as well. So that's the 1 and the 0. And so that's going to be interesting to see as well. So the planet corresponding to ivy that rules, over that is the moon and Saturn. And that's really cool because, we're going through a lot of interesting things with our cycles right now, and the moon cycles. And we still are in that window of the new moon in Libra right now. And the element that associates with this time is water. So there's water. The symbolism of ivy is fidelity and fertility, protection, and healing. The stone that corresponds is opal, which is very cool. The color is indigo. The bird that corresponds is the lark, the mute swan, and the swallow. The deities that correspond: Ariadne, Artemis, Arianhod, Pasiphae, Dionysus, Bacchus, and Osiris. Medicinal properties, magical properties are shown in this article. Oh, roses for the flush of youth, and laurel for the perfect prime, but pick an ivy branch for me, grown old before my time. Christina Georgina Rossetti, 1862. So, Lesson of the Ivy, The Wisdom of Trees by Jane Gifford. Ivy reminds us the movement of the heavens and the way this is reflected on earth. It has the ability to bind all things together. It can wander freely, linking tree to tree, or form dense thickets that block out the light and restrict passage. Ivy brings shelter or overwhelming darkness and reminds us that where there is life, there is also death. Ivy represents the wandering of the soul in its search for enlightenment. So the wandering is coming up, and that's great. And it carries a warning to be sure of the direction of your desires so that you avoid being ensnared by them. True progress is made, however, when all the lessons of the preceding trees have been linked together with ivy in such a way that the light can still enter and no limb need break. So in England, it was once believed that if ivy refused to grow on a grave, it meant the soul was unhappy in its other world. And then there's just some different, kind of folklore and lore, things like that. And also is explaining the great goddess Arianhod. I'm not sure how to say that, but she's a Welsh triple goddess and a moon goddess. She's an overseer of life and death, of time and karma. She represents each of us, our own destiny and self-power, authority, and protection. Celtic moon sign is the ivy moon. Ivy travels everywhere. It spreads happily and thrives in many places where no other greenery could survive. Its determination to reach through obstacles toward light and nourishment is well known too. If you were born under this tree sign, your networking abilities will further both your personal goals and the purposes of your cause, whatever that might be. It's important that you use this talent to reach out like the ivy in a productive way. Don't allow yourself to bind others to you or to be bound by guilt, worry, or fear of the future. Ivy represents the embracing and confining female principles of life. which is so super interesting because I've been looking at that in the ninefold aspects of the goddess. So ivy represents the embracing and confining female principles of life. Yes, so interesting. Some things might want to come through around that. Ivy is a symbol of the goddess because it grows in a spiral, one of the goddess's symbols. Place some ivy on your altar to symbolize your spiritual journey through the wheel of the year. In winter, we follow the spiral energy down and within, and in the spring, we follow it up into the light for our own symbolic rebirth. Yeah. And so, if ivy grows on a tree in your dream, you may have grief. And then, yeah, there's just some other things, and so I will just add that, to the description box. But I thought that was super fun to look into. And yeah, while I was looking for some gorilla symbolism in my animal speak book, I flipped open to like the flowers and the trees symbolism part. And so just like saw some fun corresponding flowers that kind of go along with ivy and the flowers that have been popping up in my yard, which I was trying to figure out like what those purple flowers are with the ivy. So I looked into the ivy to kind of see like what kind of ivy it was, and I couldn't really tell, but I feel like maybe it is Bullock's heart ivy because the leaves are in heart shapes and they're like a really dark deep green, and they do have like the purple flowers, and that could be morning glory, which they do open in the morning. So that was pretty fun to see. And what morning glory symbolizes is breaking down of the old and spontaneity. And so I thought that was kind of fun because that's what's been coming up in my streams the last week or so is, the breaking down the old patterns, letting go of old beliefs, letting go of old attachments, and inviting spontaneity, that's really cool. And I had no idea they related. It is just kind of fun to see those things. And so ivy and oak and holly and mistletoe, those are all connected in certain ways. And so I was just like, kind of like looking into that. Holly symbolizes protection and the overcoming of anger and becoming that spiritual warrior. And this hyacinth is overcoming of grief, and it's about gentleness and inner beauty and inner strength. And the daffodil, which is blooming in my yard, they come and they bloom in the summertime, but I don't know if I've ever seen them come back in the fall, but they have, so purple and yellow flowers out in my yard. And so the daffodil, the power of inner beauty and the clarity of thought. So that was fun. So just wrote down myself some notes about the oak, the pine, mistletoe, and frankincense, and sap, and amber, and resin, and remembering. And so like it's all about the tree right now, like all parts of the tree, all parts of the whole, and all cycles and stages of growth. So, and then looking at some of my silliness and some of my regrets maybe, or maybe just kind of looking at certain things and judging myself in hindsight about, I could have handled that a little better. But really it's like kind of letting go of those judgments too, and knowing that how everything did play out and how I got to play my parts, it was right, even if it didn't feel like totally right or comfortable, and maybe it didn't look so pretty, And so like just kind of wondering how, like, and through certain others' lenses, that what kind of light that showed me in, or how they perceived my energy and what I was going through and what I was attempting to communicate and all of those things. And so this is kind of like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all of that too. And sometimes certain tactics aren't always so pretty or graceful, but they are effective, or maybe they're not, who knows. But they were effective for me and for what I needed, even if they didn't have the results, or I didn't see the results that I really wanted. I did get some, and they were effective. They were effective for me anyway. And so I was able to look at and into a lot of things in new ways that I hadn't been able to before. And so that was what I was really asking for. I was asking for others to be willing and open to be able to do that themselves, because it just shocked me so much that it just seemed like everyone was so rigid and closed-minded and wouldn't even consider anything else or any other point of view or story than the one, that they were, like, for holding on to dear life to, like kicking and screaming, no, I don't want to look at anything else, and that's what was making me just, feel so angry and upset about a lot of things, was just like the seeming unwillingness to let go and release and suspend beliefs and be willing to see something else or consider other possibilities, not necessarily agreeing, but just considering and opening to the possibilities, And so I feel like I was cock-blocking myself in some certain ways, because maybe I was actually preventing myself from seeing certain things. But that's just the way it goes, like with Coyote and Heyokah and the trickster archetype and the trickster ally that tricks us. Because we're tricking ourselves too, and so it is pretty tricksy, And so it's pretty great and pretty fun, and it can be, if we can remember to laugh and have fun, have fun with all of this. And so, confessing. So I do have some confessing to do, and I will, be happy to, share those confessions and own my own bullshit, because that's part of my power, and I'm going to claim it. So my soft serve, happy turd, owning all my bullshit, and it's okay, the ridiculousness of all of it, and all the silly stories at play. And taking ourselves so seriously, that's one of the biggest cock blockers that there is. And so looking at the cock and the cock blocker, and wanted to look into Rooster again, like, because it's, just got a nudge, like, and I remembered some things as well about Rooster. And a couple months ago, I was looking into my big red book by Carl Jung, and I had opened it up to like a mandala inside, and it took me a little bit of time to kind of see like where the translations were in the back of the book about like the art that's in there, and the different visions and themes and stories and myths and things that were coming up in his unconscious. And it, I did spend like a little bit of time, like a week or so, like kind of looking into that, and some of me didn't quite understand like what I was receiving at the time, and some of me did, but this is like, okay, we'll let this like unfold in its own time. And so it came back again, like it kind of circled back around, and it has to do with Abraxas, and I'll go into that at the end, like some of the things that I found today and that kind of relate to what came into my awareness a couple months ago. And just there's a picture that's forming or starting to form, or some kind of insight percolating, fermenting, and we'll see what potion is brewing from this alchemical mixture. And the cauldron, the waters of life, all those things are coming up. So focus in creating, knowing that the universe, you-inverse, is conspiring and conspires on my behalf. So the universe is on my side, it's on our side, and it wants all the best for me and we. On some level, I trust this for me. On a soul level, I do trust this for me and we. So Creator loves me and we so unconditionally, so open, soften, let go of the past, let go of control, let go of everything. Be present and receptive, practice non-attachment, witness, watch and see. Listen, communicating authentically, open-hearted and discerning, becoming aware, taking actions, and taking, claiming, expressing care, responsibility and accountability. Yeah, all my love and care. Salt and visualizations, boundaries and prayers, agreements and an allegiance to a greater authority. Be in joy, live in joy, and love in joy. In fullness, in life, in myself. Don't take things so seriously or so very personally. All man coyote. Always account for the dual nature, the trickster, the challenger, the double, the twin, the doppelganger, the magical other, the dance partner, the teacher, the friend, the equalizer. Yeah, cock blockers, cock blocking, cock stopping, cock squawking, cock shocking, cock mocking, cock blockums, cock stopums, cock knockums, cock blossoms, cock unblockums. Abraxas. So what can I choose and do differently today? What do I get to choose to contribute to and create, co-create, manifest and celebrate, bless and thank, praise, value and appreciate, share, receive and regenerate? Just have fun, be myself, play, enjoy, and participate joyfully in the sorrows and delights of the world. Live, love, be, love is full, love is free. Yeah, embrace the full and be free. So I'm thinking about, this is what I wrote this morning, power versus force and tyranny. Thinking about, goobers and the refusal to acknowledge certain discrepancies. Abstracting to the nth degree, leaving out details, cognitive dissonance, and survival strategies. Ignoring differences conveniently and hyperfixating on other differences. Divided competition, jealousy, pride, greed, fear, and envy. Resentments, regrets, disappointments, upsets, rigidities, attachments to roles, identities, comfort zones, and stories. Addictions, replacements, substitutions, surrogates, and false authority. Thinking about free will, radical acceptance, and the freedom to be, our legitimacy, our autonomy, sovereignty, accountability, the power to change and transform, transfigure, transmute, and regenerate. The shaman's death and surrender, bat medicine and wild boar medicine, badger, crow, and butterfly medicine. Opening my heart to Mother Earth, Mother Nature, the Great Mother, life and the elemental kingdom, the angels and the animals, and all things, everything in between. Humanity and starseeds, star brothers and sisters, galactic family. And why do some strongly believe that it's an all or nothing type of thing? Their way is the right way and all others are wrong and crazy for going a different way. Their kings and their priests and their official, rightly acknowledged authority, their loyalty to their false image and false idols, their false sense of security, their false and contrived stories, roles, and identities, their attachments, their stories. Divided competition and better than, lesser than stories. Their self-justification to reinforce tyranny, victim, judge, slavery, mentality, poisoned minds and bodies, lost in fear, hate, shame, and pain, perpetuating suffering and recycling through blame, and a refusal to take responsibility and consider other possibilities. Let them go. It's up to them to choose to see more deeply. Let them learn and grow and change in their own due time and pace. Patience and acceptance to allow things to be as they are and as they will be. Allow the unfolding, allow the process, allow the changes to take place, allow the miracles of the great mystery, allow the love of God's grace to support me and we through all this transformation, change, and awakening. Becoming aware that we all are becoming, changing through all we are and get to be. And it's not all mine to carry. It's not all about me. So remember, it's not really personal. I don't need to take things so personally or myself so seriously. And so, that was kind of cool to see about like letting go of attachments, and it's all right, And so it's awesome too that it does correspond with the pages that I actually opened to from the Sacred Path cards. And I want to share a couple of those things that do relate in just a few. So, looking at the waters of life, the waters of the womb, the waters of creation, holy water, salt water, tears, cleansing and purification, protection, the alchemical cauldron, fire, water, and the spirits of the water, water sprites and dragonfly, Dragonfly uses the water inside its body to change, evolve, and transform, to unfurl its wings from within and be reborn to the air through its watery death and rebirth. Dissolution and resolution, revolution, happens from the inside. Yeah. And one other thing, yeah, I was looking at, and I almost shared yesterday in my video, and maybe I did because, yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't watch it. So, man, so much pressure today, huge compression tensions, being squeezed through the eye of the needle. Damn, son, break open and bend to break through, and through, and through, till total compression break through. Yeah, and that was September 24th that I wrote that. So thanks so much, love, in every single individual way. Maybe I will. Maybe I will just go. There's powerful, huge, and sudden shifts in this dynamic energy, and it is so challenging to just breathe, surrender, center, and let go. Again and again and again, letting go. Doing my best to be in the flow, the rushing currents of life at play, dynamic energies, love always. Keep it circulating, free love to be. I let go of attachments to open and receive. I let go of attachments to make room for me. I let go of attachments to make room for we. I let go of attachments so love can be freely received. I let go of attachments, love without strings. I let go of attachments to improve and achieve. I am willing to show up and free my own being. I am willing to grow, learn, share, and receive. I am willing to fail, make mistakes, and succeed. So I'm a little bit worried about experiencing some of these feelings, these anxieties and fixated hope of feeling, these feelings of anxiety and fixated hope. Worry and concern for my friends and family during this time of upheaval, loss, and devastation. The Tower of Babel collapsing and crumbling all over again. But letting go and trusting in this transition, this phase, this stage, and this cycle, and the current cycles of change, rest, death, rebirth, and growth. Huge themes for Libra and Scorpio, and it's amazing really all the synchronicities at play and God playing through all these creative energies, through all these ways of being, through all of we and me, and all the love we be. So wake up and play. Fucking A, it's okay. Just relax into love and be gay. Be in joy, be in love, be in sorrow, be with pain. Allow love to be free. Love always. Yeah, allow love to move and be free through all ways. Grieve what is gone and grieve what is dying. Grieve what is falling away. Let go of all that's no longer ours or mine to carry. Hold on to. Let go with love. Love always. So I repotted a few plants and I worked on my scapegoat. The back part is almost complete, and then I get to decide what else can be created. It's been really great art therapy. I have enjoyed the creative process and just being willing to follow through and allow it to unfold in magical and mundane ways. Love always. I don't know how it looks to others, but I know what it means to me and for me, and so I am grateful and thankful for fully allowing me to express myself artistically, authentically, and truthfully in my own ways, through my own creative being, my creative energy. Love always. I'm almost ready to speak about some things. I've been letting them ferment and percolate within me, and so, I'll trust Moose to help me with divine timing. Yes. Becoming aware of what has been hidden, what has been concealed and overwritten or hijacked, distorted, and given the bargain without knowing. Given away. What has been given permission or tacit consent. Not knowing our true worth and value, not knowing who we are, not knowing our own true power, not knowing the value of life, not knowing our own dark and light, not knowing our own true sides. Our own true sides, dark and light. Not knowing our full nature, not knowing all we are. Not knowing our connection, not knowing our precious true hearts. Not knowing our miscreations, not knowing our true full whole parts. Not knowing we always have a choice, not knowing our ignorance, not knowing our innocence, not knowing our folly, not knowing our purpose and gifts. All this. Power versus force and domination, control, manipulation, or recalibration, recapitulation, transfiguration. May the highest good and God's self be served and realized for one and all, through one and all, for all is through one, and one is through all. It is done, it is done, it is done. Amen. So that one, yeah, that's from my old journal. And yeah, some of the cards that I pulled, or that I actually flipped to, from Sacred Paths Cards by Jamie Sams. So the Moon Lodge was the first one, and that's about taking a retreat and taking a break. And then the Whirling Rainbow, that was so great. That was exactly what I needed, and I'll probably end up reading that whole thing and sharing that, because that is about others' garbage, others' stuff, and petty tyrants. And so it's interesting. So then the other one was Dreamtime, the other one was Shaman's Death, the other one was Heyokah, and the other was Powwow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 cards there. And so look at. And yeah, super appreciated all those messages. Yeah. And so we'll share a few of them. But what I was looking at the other day, I had read from Prayers by Don Miguel Ruiz, and I was looking to see if I could find that prayer so I could just copy and paste it instead of typing it all up. But I actually found like just a bunch of different quotes, and I thought, okay, I'll just add that. And so I went and I looked at it today, and I was just kind of scrolling through like some of his quotes from different books he's written. And it was like some of these like popped out at me. And so it is all about attachments and truth and the present moment. And so I just, wrote down a few of these that I felt like super related to what I'm working through and playing with, and I appreciate them, so I wanted to share them. An attachment is the action of taking something that is not a part of you and making it a part of you through an emotional or energetic investment. Yeah, because we didn't know the power of our own value and our own worth. Yeah. We had to make something that wasn't a part of us, and then putting our own energy into it. And that's why we're so attached to it. Yeah, because we put so much of ourselves into it, or what we thought was ourselves. So that's pretty interesting. Truly, nothing matters but the present, because it is the only place where life can express itself. Unconditional love allows you to disagree with the choices or beliefs of others while still respecting their right to have them. It doesn't matter how much you love someone, you are never going to be what that person wants you to be. And that's from The Mastery of Love. And the other ones were from The Mastery of Self, a Toltec Guide to Personal Freedom. Selfishness, control, and fear will break almost any relationship. Generosity, freedom, and love will create the most beautiful relationship and ongoing romance. Real love is accepting other people the way they are without trying to change them, and that's from the 4 Agreements. And so, Gorilla, what I wrote down about Gorilla, and then I'll put the article in the description box because there's so much good stuff in there. I just want to read the whole thing, but yeah, it's there for you if you want to receive. So Gorilla, this ally can help with the discomfort we may experience with our own vulnerability. It's all about communication and gentility, compassion, kind-heartedness, reliability, trustworthiness, nurturing. It's got that spirit of nurturing. Self-love, strength and humility, patience, self-worth, balance, harmony, discernment, personal authority, connection, leadership roles, loyalty, dignity, wisdom, and intelligence, love, community, good luck. It's a balancing energy that balances the divine feminine and the masculine. And it's also about like diplomacy, but it's also about fierce protection when those messages aren't, and those boundaries are not honored. Yeah, fierceness. So I thought that was really amazing, and great. So I wanted to share a couple of things from the Sacred Path cards, and then go over Some of the archetypes of the magician, the gardener, and the king, and the mother, the maiden, and the crone. So the gardener and the magician and the king are obviously like they're masculine archetypes, although like don't have to be masculine to be a gardener or like to embody that king archetype and that magician archetype. So it's pretty interesting in those ways. But it was almost like this triple aspect of the masculine, of the divine masculine within the king, the magician, and the gardener, which was really cool because it does, like, it's a mirror of, like, an opposite of the mother maiden or the maiden mother crone archetype as well. So it's really amazing. And so there's also, of course, there's the youth and the father and the wise old man as well. And so this just kind of makes me think about a lot of things, like the unity within myself and making the room and the space for all to be unified within my being. And that's kind of what the Whirling Rainbow is about in these Sacred Path cards. So I super appreciated this, and I'm so glad to receive this beautiful gift and these tools to work with. Oh yes, and West Shield. The West Shield was another one that popped up for me, which is introspection and goals, that's perfect time for that, as we're in that new moon window right now. And so the Moon Lodge, I'll just share this application part of it. The Moon Lodge card speaks of retreat. Take a break. Your influence cannot be felt this time because you're in need of replenishing your own energy. This is a barren time in a sense because you need to be alone and honor yourself for a change. Retreat is not an act of weakness, it is an act of strength. Without retreat, the future cannot take hold in the present. Make note that you are preparing for the time of fertile action by taking a rest now. Being alone at this time will allow you to do the things that give you joy without interference. Remember that miracles can happen when you repose and allow yourself to come to your new starting place in a gentle way. Well, thank you, Moon Lodge. And for the Whirling Rainbow, I'll read the application first and then see if anything else wants to be shared about that. The application. If the Whirling Rainbow has appeared, you are being asked to remove any type of discord from your life in order to grow. Don't feed the negativity. Look at any lessons being presented at this time, learn from them, then focus your attention on creating new beauty and abundance in your life. Do not allow yourself to be caught in the quicksand of petty tyrants. A true worthy opponent will present lessons to make you grow beyond any high drama and into a sense of unity with the self. Other petty tyrants are not worthy of your attention or your energy. You need not take on the issues of others when the discord is due to their lack of unity within themselves. Encircle any discord with the whirling rainbow of peace and consider the unity you have with great mystery when you keep your eye on the goal and your feet on the sacred path of beauty. Remember that any challenges to unity are equal to your ability to overcome them. Oh, thank you, Whirling Rainbow. Whirling Rainbow is number 18, Unity and Wholeness Achieved. Whirling Rainbow, giver of life, through your cleansing rains, uniting all colors, the children of earth will walk in peace again. Whirling Rainbow prophecy, your warriors now arise, sisters and brothers in harmony, your light in their eyes. Whirling Rainbow, touch our hearts, we will surely fly, never lonely or apart, our whirling colors in the sky. Whirling Rainbow, unity and wholeness achieved, the teaching. To the Navajo and the Hopi, this whirling rainbow woman is the bringer of friendly rains that nurture the three sisters, corn, squash, and beans, during the summer so that the people will be fed. Many times an image of the whirling rainbow is created in sand painting, an ancient sacred healing art performed by the medicine clans of those nations. The whirling rainbow woman comes from all four directions and curves like a swastika covering all directions. The outside of the sacred circle is protected by another whirling rainbow woman, bending her body in the space below, creating a cup shape to catch the rain and protect the circle. Without the rain, the three sisters will die and the people will not be fed. The whirling rainbow is the promise of peace among all nations and all people. The rainbow race stresses equality and opposes the idea of a superior race that would control or conquer other races. The rainbow race brings peace through the understanding that all races are one. The unity of all colors, all creeds working together for the good of the whole is the idea that is embodied in the whirling rainbow. When all pathways to wholeness are respected by all cultures, the prophecy of the whirling rainbow will be completed. When I lived in Mexico and worked with the grandmothers, the Dreamtime Buffalo Society or Sisterhood had many prophecies derived from seers and dreamers that had come down through the ages. The prophecy of the whirling rainbow is very specific. When the time of the white buffalo approaches, the third generation of the white's eyes children will grow their hair and speak of love as the healer of the children of earth. When the time of the white buffalo approaches, the third generation of the white-eyes children will grow their hair and speak of love as the healer of the children of earth. These children will seek new ways of understanding themselves and others. They will wear feathers and beads and paint their faces. They will seek the elders of the red face and drink of their wisdom. These white-eyed children will be a sign that the ancestors are returning in white bodies, but they are red on the inside. They will learn to walk the earth Mother in balance. They will learn to walk the earth mother in balance again and reform the ideas of the white chiefs. These children will be tested as they were when they were red ancestors by unnatural substances like fire water to see if they can remain on the sacred path. The generation of flower children have moved through this part of the prophecy, and some have remained on the sacred path. Others were lost for a while and are now returning to the natural way of being. Some were disillusioned and have forgotten the high ideals that gave them life when their hearts were young. But others are still waking up and quickening into the remembering. Grandmother C.C. would look at me with her obsidian eyes, piercing my soul when she spoke of the whirling rainbow prophecy, and I would feel my heart skip a beat and then fill with promise and love. She would tell me about the return of the buffalo to Turtle Island and how the herds would once again be numerous. After the time when the buffalo returned, the generation following the flower children would see the dawning of the fifth world of peace. Grandmother Sissy called the beginning of this fifth world the wobbly pony that on being born would try to use its legs. She said that the wobble would be felt by the Earth Mother and changes would occur in the soil and waters. Inside the children of Earth, the wobble would create rolling emotions and feelings that would bring the quickening and the remembering. Colorful dreams would be brought into the sleep time and dream time dreams of these newborn warriors of the rainbow, and they would begin to learn how to walk in balance. The changes in our Earth Mother would create fear in her children, which would later lead to the understanding and unity of one planet, one people. Grandmother Berta would giggle when we came to this part of the prophecy because my eyes would be round as saucers and I could not sit still. Grandmother Berta would urge Grandmother Sissy to stop for the day and leave me hanging on the edge of the cliff just to tease me. Sissy would finally begin again and slap my knee to make me pay attention to the rhythm of the prophecy because my mind would be spinning with the probabilities and my own projections. I wanted to ask so many questions about how, when, where, and why. I wanted to know details. I was 22 and very impatient, but I kept my silence so she would continue. The whirling rainbow will appear in the form of a sundog to those who are ready to see. The sundog is a full rainbow circle around the sun that has bright white lights at the four directions. The sundog is a rare natural phenomenon that was named by Native Americans. The name is now used by scientists all over the world. Many sundogs will be seen around the time of the white buffalo, which will be the sky language sign that the secret and sacred teachings are to be shared with all races. Enough of the children of earth will be awakened to carry the responsibility of the teachings, and the healing process will begin in full swing. Grandmother Berta would smile with a faraway look in her eyes, knowing that she would be on the blue-red road of spirit when the time of the white buffalo came. Grandmother Sissy would also be in the other side camp, but both promised they would be assisting me in bringing out the things they had taught me when the time was right. Both grandmothers spoke of the change and feelings the children of Earth would have during the wobble or healing process as the whirling rainbows permeated their dreams. They said many will remember their purpose for being on this earth walk and will learn to develop their gifts to assist the whole of humanity. Truth will shatter the bonds of separation and goodness will prevail. Some details of earth changes will come into the dreams of those who are being warned to move where they will be safe. Others will be told that their talents will be needed in areas where the changes occur. Everyone will have to trust their personal vision and follow their hearts in order to assist the whole. Each person will be able to use their gifts with joy and share equally in the bounty created by all those working together. The other teachings of the prophecy of the whirling rainbow will be released at a later time when more have awakened to the potential that they carry. In our Seneca tradition, Grandmother Twyla has taught us many uses for the whirling rainbow of peace. When we are having difficulty in any situation, we visualize the rainbow of peace encircling the situation, the people involved, and the disharmony. Then we twinkle our eyes with joy, sending our inner peace to the situation. In using this technique and following it with ceremony, we place our intention inside the whirling rainbow of peace. Our intention follows the Iroquois Peace Confederacy tradition that uses the 12 cycles of truth to bring peace. The 12 cycles of truth are learning the truth, honoring the truth, accepting the truth, observing the truth, hearing the truth, presenting the truth, loving the truth, serving the truth, living the truth, working the truth, walking the truth, and being grateful for the truth. When we invite total truth into our sacred space, we shatter the bonds of separation and illusion that create discord. The whirling rainbow of peace destroys the lies that have made the children of earth mistrust one another and replaces the illusion of separation with the truth of unity. When the whirling rainbow woman of the Navajo and Hopi brings the cleansing and regenerative rains to the earth mother, her children are also cleansed and healed. When the rainbow of peace of the Seneca encircles each person's sacred space, all will walk in truth, respecting the sacred space of others, and the harmony of living on earth will be restored. These knowing systems are the teachings of the warriors of the rainbow, who are sisters and brothers, uniting the fifth world and working for peace. The Whirling Rainbow and Sacred Path Cards by Jamie Sams. Wow, I hadn't read the whole thing. I just read a little bit of the beginning and the end. Hadn't read the meat in between. And so, wow, that was beautiful, and I hope that blesses you as well. And just wow. Grateful for the truth. Wow. So trust in the truth, yeah. And harmony and balance and beauty. And I think I will leave it there for now. But yeah, I would totally, if anyone, is drawn to these, I would say it's gold and be open to receive it. Yes. So. I'll just share a little bit more about some of these synchronicities and some of these fun things. Yeah. So we'll go into the fourth stage of the Handless Maiden, finding love in the underworld. And see where we are with that and see what wants to be shared. So I have it open to, or bookmarked here, 454, and That is about the mage or magician, whom the king brings with him to interpret what he sees, represents the direct magic of a woman's power. Such things as the split-second recall, the thousand-league vision, the hearing over miles, the empathic ability to see from behind anyone's eyes, human or animal, all these belong to the instinctual feminine. It is the magician who shares in these and also traditionally helps to maintain them and enact them in the outer world. Though the mage can be of either gender, here it is a powerful male figure, similar to the stalwart brother in fairy tales who so loves his sister that he will do all to help her. The mage always has crossover potential. In dreams and in tales, he appears as a man as often as he shows up as a woman. He can be male, female, animal, or mineral, just as the crone, his female counterpart, can also affect her guises with ease. In conscious life, the mage assists a woman's ability to become whatever she wishes and to portray herself as she wishes at any given moment. That's super interesting. And so, the gardener. The gardener is a cultivator of soul, a regenerative keeper of seed, soil, and root. He is similar to the Hopi Kokopelli, who is a humpback spirit who comes to the villages each spring and fertilizes the crops as well as the women. The gardener's function is regeneration. The psyche of a woman must constantly sow, train, and harvest new energy in order to replace what is old and worn out. There is a natural entropy or wearing down and using up of psychic parts. This is good, this is how the psyche is supposed to work, but one must have energies and training ready to backfill. This is the role of the gardener in the psychic work. He keeps track of the need for change and replenishing. Intrapsychically, there is constant living, constant death dealing, constant replacement of ideas, images, and energies. That's so super interesting. Wow. And so, yeah, I'll share one more thing, one more archetype, the spirit in white. Throughout legend and fairy tales, the spirit in white is the guide, the one who has an innate and gentle knowing, who is rather like a trailblazer for the woman's journey. Among some of the Mesimondok, the spirit was thought to be a piece of an old and precious shattered god that still invested itself in each human. By way of dress, the spirit in white is closely related to myriad life, death, life goddesses from various cultures who all dress in radiant white. Yeah. This implies that the spirit in white is a helper of the mother crone, who in archetypal psychology is also a life, death, life goddess. And the king, the king wants to be included. The king represents a trove of knowledge in the underworld. He carries the ability to take inner knowing out into the world and put it into practice without mincing, muttering, or apologizing. The king is the son of the mother queen crone. Like her, and probably following her lead, he is involved in the mechanisms of vital process of the psyche. Like her, and probably following her lead, he is involved in the mechanisms of vital process of the psyche, the failing, dying, and return of consciousness. Later in the story, when he wanders looking for his lost queen, he will undergo a kind of death that will transform him from a civilized king to a wild one. He will find his queen, and so be a civilized king to a wild one. He will find his queen, and so be reborn. Yes. He will find his queen and so be reborn. In psychic terms, this means that the old central attitudes of the psyche will die as the psyche learns more. The old attitudes will be replaced by either new or renewed viewpoints concerning just about everything in a woman's life. In this sense, the king represents renewal of the ruling attitudes and laws in a woman's psyche. How super interesting is that? And next time I'll share about the queen, the mother, and the crone, the devil, the maiden, and any others, that want to come through. So super, super interesting and fun for today with that. And I wanted just to share what I found about the rooster and about the cock today, and a little bit about Abraxas, and we'll leave it at that. And for now, Yeah, and this play. So the cock. And that's fun. It's about sexuality, watchfulness, and resurrection. So the cock or the rooster has a long history of symbolism associated with it. Its primary symbolism is that of sexuality because one rooster will fertilize and serve an entire brood of hens. Because of its early morning crowing, it is often considered a solar symbol. Yeah, associated with the morning and the sun. Waking us up. and that call. Yeah, that call to wake. So... Every morning the sun resurrects itself, and the cock heralds this resurrection. It is because of this same activity that it's considered the enemy of ghosts and evil spirits which roam free at night and are bound during the day. Another reason for its association with resurrection is the old tale of how a cock heralded Christ's birth. The cock is extremely vigilant in its activities with the hens in its yard. It is very active, moving often among them, and many believe that this is a reminder to be vigilant in keeping things of the spirit first. This was reflected in biblical scripture when the cock crowed after Peter denied Jesus 3 times. This idea of spiritual vigilance was expanded upon in the 4th century as the belief arose that a cock would sing out when Judgment Day arrived. A cock as a totem may even reflect past lives associated with early Christianity, or it may even go back further to ancient Greece. In Greek mythology, the cock is associated with the story of love between Ares and Aphrodite, which is super amazing as well, because from their union, from the god of war and the goddess of love, from their union came the goddess Concordia, which is harmony. And so it is super interesting, all of these streams and themes that relate and just kind of come about in their synchronicities. In this story, Ares commissions Electron, which is a cock, to keep watch over Aphrodite. It was also a symbol for Cadmilu in the Samothracian mysteries. To the early Gnostics, the cock was a major form of the god Abraxas. Abraxas was the rooster-headed god with serpent feet, in whom light and darkness are both united and transcended. The cock will always be a totem of great power and mystery. It has ties to the ancient past and clues to your own powers in the future. The rooster is also one of the 12 signs of the zodiac in traditional Chinese astrology. It is a sign of enthusiasm and humor. Roosters are considered very eccentric and colorful, but they do have a direct approach to life. If the rooster is your totem, it may be telling you the same thing, or it may have shown up to teach you how to be more direct. A rooster can stimulate a new sense of optimism, and it will help you to come to terms with your own wonderful eccentricities. How amazing and awesome is that? Like, I have no idea, like, why I didn't remember any of that about, the eccentricity and all of that. So that was super fun for me to find today, and I hope you enjoyed and appreciated that. And then there's one more thing about Abraxas, since that came up in the last couple days again. So in this book, some Science and Symbol Sourcebook by Adele Nozedar. It's funny. My dyslexia and my reversals in my brains. Abraxas. Depending on your point of view, Abraxas is either an Egyptian sun god who was adopted by the early Christian Gnostics, or a demon from hell who is closely associated with Lucifer, although there is a case for the former, since he was not demoted to the ranks of demon until the Middle Ages. So that's interesting. Abraxas was no ordinary god, however. As ruler of the first heaven, he had dominion over the cycles of birth, death, and resurrection. Whatever the case, the symbol for Abraxas is a very unusual one. He has the head of a chicken, the torso of a man, and two serpents for legs. He holds a shield in one hand and a flail-like instrument in the other. The image of Abraxas was carved onto stones called Abraxas stones, and the stone used as a magical amulet. Occasionally, Abraxas will appear driving a chariot drawn by 4 horses, and these horses represent the elements. This Abraxas symbol was adopted by the Knights Templar who used it on their seals. No one knows precisely why this symbol was of particular significance, but a hidden secret within the name Abraxas may provide a clue. In Greek, the 7 letters are the initials of the first 7 planets in the solar system. Further, if we apply numerology to the name, then it adds up to 365, not only the number of days in a year, but also the number of the spirits that those same early Gnostics believed were emanations from God. Added to the mix is the speculation that the supreme magical word abracadabra may derive from the name Abraxas, which means harm me not. Or it's also been known and translated as abracadabra, I create as I speak, which is, pretty interesting. And so, the 7 letters are the initials of the first 7 planets in the solar system. And Abraxas will appear driving a chariot drawn by 4 horses. These horses represent the elements. And so I've also been looking into that, working with the elements and organic life and inorganic life and the archons and the Sophia myth. And so I had read a little bit today in Not in His Image, in that book by John Lamb Lash. And also the last couple weeks, I've had this book here in my office because, when I first got that book, Not in His Image, I had been reading something and it reminded me all about, this eccentric artwork that, as a teenager, I was kind of drawn to, because I was kind of drawn to the dark in certain ways. And so, I had kept it to do soul collage and stuff. I almost gave this book away a couple years ago because I was I really don't like this anymore. But I did still feel like there was some value in it, to be found. And so I did actually hold on to it. And so I've kind of been looking at it here and there the last couple weeks. And it's a book of art, by H.R. Giger. And it is kind of interesting because it does kind of show transhumanism things in there, and also kind of the reversals and the distortions and inversions and perversions of the life force, and how it's been hijacked and controlled and subverted and subsumed. So it is, kind of just something interesting I'm looking into. And just, when I'm reading about, the archons and things, that's kind of the, some of the imagery that comes up in some of those certain ways. The mechanized stuff. The organic and the inorganic. But I heard something about that the other day, that relates, to the, creation stories as well, and the error of that, and it has something to do with attention and the elements and thought and all of that. And so I want to explore that further and see where that goes, because it's super interesting and it piques my curiosity. And there is that part of me that always wants to know, and loves the chase and the quest and the journey. So I'll just allow it and allow the learning and the journey, to unfold. So thanks for listening. I hope you're doing well today. I'm sending lots of love your way always. And let me know how you're doing and what's coming up, and what are you feeling into? What are you looking into? What are you looking at? What are you playing into? And what are you playing at? What are you letting go of? And what are you inviting into your life? And are you allowing yourself and accepting yourself and treating yourself all right? So love y'all. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye for now. See ya.